Hello Valiants, welcome back to Vibrant Authentic Living. I have here a bowl of pecans and I'm going to be talking to you about pecans. So let's have a closer look for those who are unfamiliar with what the pecan looks like. Okay, so it's a very oily nut. It's not as oily as the walnut, and you often see people making comparisons between the pecan and the walnut. They are similar, they look similar, they kind of taste similar too and have similar properties, right? But each in its own right. So the pecan is I call it a light nut. It's because of the fat content. More fat than protein. You know, most nuts are more protein than fat, but still packing a good amount of protein. And I should tell you, I'm not a nuts person. I used to be all about nuts. So I used to make nut milk every single day when my children were growing up. I used to make nut milk and I used to make soy milk every single morning from scratch. Nut milk, I used to make the nut milk with the sea moss every single morning from scratch. Now, since I have a condition, TMAU, trimethyl amylurea, and you can check out my video that I did on that, living with TMAU, and that condition does not allow me to have too much protein because my body doesn't process too much protein very well. It has many negative effects. So when I realized that was the case and found out more about TMAU, I really cut back on my consumption of nuts and beans and heavy protein foods, right? And I'm more in favor of a fruitarian diet. How I have never been able to go 100% fruit. It is my ideal, but it is very difficult to achieve, as you can imagine. But I would say 80% of my diet is fruits, and I really try to minimize the amount of protein that I eat. But when I do go for nuts, the pecan is one of those nuts that I prefer because it has healthy fats and not so much protein. So let me tell you about the pecan. So it has a smooth, creamy, rich taste, whether you just grab a handful and eat it, or if you blend it to make nut milk. It's one of the most delicious nut milks you can make by itself, or you can, as I said, add it to sea moss. It gives it that nice creamy flavor. You can add it to your smoothies, put in your banana, papaya, mango. And this nut is a creamy, because of the fat, it gives it that creamy, smooth texture to your smoothies, right? So it's one of those nuts I prefer to use when I do use the nuts, which, as I said, is not often, right? All right, so it's rich in calcium, magnesium, potassium, and those three minerals by themselves and especially together, they help to regulate the heart function, and so it will help lower hypertension and prevent heart disease. The pecans are cholesterol free. The raw pecans, as is, because these are raw pecans, cholesterol free, sodium free, and they're very low in carbs. They are rich, however, in vitamin E, vitamin A, zinc, folate. All these vitamins and minerals, the vitamin E is excellent for the skin. Vitamin A strengthens the eyes and also good for the skin and hair. The folate is very beneficial, especially to women in their childbearing years. You want to make sure you have folate for the proper formation of the fetus and the healthy functioning of the fetus, as the fetus develops in the uterus. Nuts in general are rich in fiber, and the pecans are no exception, right? So very rich in fiber, and it has healthy fats, monounsaturated fats, which can help to lower what we call the bad cholesterol, LDL cholesterol, and which has been found to reduce the risk of strokes and heart attacks. Now, as you may well know, an ounce of nuts goes a long way, right? So you don't want to have too much of the nuts, an ounce, or you just put sprinkle a few over your salad or something, or if you're making nut milk, don't overdo it, because the nuts pack a lot of power. They come with a lot of power, and you don't want to give your body too much to handle. Protein-rich foods are heavy on the kidneys. They give the kidneys a lot of work to do to basically to neutralize and excrete the nitrogen from the body. So you don't want to, if you do partake of the nuts, you don't want to overdo it, right? So just a little bit, and they come with a lot of power, so you're still going to get the benefits even with a little bit. Now, the pecans have a low glycemic index, which means that they will not cause a great spike in the blood sugar, and so those who have blood sugar issues such as diabetes type 2 or type 1, where you don't want to have that spike, this is something that you could have. The pecans have omega-3 fatty acids, which have been found to help reduce inflammation in the body, inflammatory conditions such as arthritis, and what are called it totally slipped me. Right, the conditions that are associated with inflammation, right? So inflammation in the body can present itself in rashes. It can present itself in pus oozing, fevers, itching, anything like that, right? Autoimmune conditions, right? So-called autoimmune conditions, which are really just inflammation in the body. So we don't want to overload the body with things that it has to eliminate. We want to, and the lighter it is, the better. That's why I tend to stick with the fruits, because I know my body can process those well, get them in, get them out, extract what is needed, and off they go, right? So you don't want to burden the system. And on this channel we promote things like fasting, occasional fasting, so you abstain from food for a while, give your body that time and space that it needs to process what you have already put in, right? So fasting, meditation, all of those. Remember, this is a lifestyle. This is vibrant, authentic living. This is valiant living. It's not a one-day thing. It's not a if I feel like it thing. It's a lifestyle. All right, so if you decide to partake of the nuts, this is one nut you could try if you have it available in your area. Pecans. If you have not yet subscribed to Vibrant Authentic Living, I urge you to do so. Now would be a great time. And if you want to be a sponsor, if you want to support the channel, just follow the Patreon link in the description. Go on over and become a supporter. Until next time, this is Nandi with my pecans, and I'll see you in the next video.